Welcome to Living in the Midlands. This is the channel that's going to be highlighting all of the greater Columbia, South Carolina area. And today I have Tom Wood on with me. Welcome, welcome. Tom is a real estate agent like myself. And he's a transplant, also like myself, but you came over in 2020, I believe?
Yes.
And I came over in 1990, so I've been here a little bit longer. Kind of feel like this is home now, and I've got I was in middle school when I moved here, and so I really call Lexington home.
Yes.
And I've lived in Columbia as well, so I'm just, Charleston is my original home, South Carolina. Lived out in Colorado for a while, and then found our way back here. We moved here because my mom got a job and started working here and took the job on and had opportunities to move elsewhere, but we like it here, so we stayed. And what about you? So you are a transplant, 2020?
I am. I'm a transplant from the Midwest. We've lived several places in Ohio, but the key to bringing us here was we would come down to visit family in Red Bank, which is an area of Lexington County, and every time we come down, I'm like, man, why do we keep going back to Ohio? The weather's so much nicer here. We always come down, when it's Christmas time, and you'd be the snow and the ice and just no sunshine. So actually, and I was a realtor up in Ohio. One of my relatives' sister-in-law, actually, her brother was moving to South Carolina, to Spartansburg, and he was telling me about the increased number of sunshine days in South Carolina. Right. And so I just, I looked it up. Ohio has 170 on average. Last year was 170, where down here in Columbia, 218.
Wow, 218 days of sunshine.
Yeah.
Very good. On the weather, let's jump into that. I had it pulled up as well. So our weather, we're known for mild winters. Why so many people move here. Our summers get pretty hot with an average of 95 degrees in July and 72 at night. But our winters in January, only 36 at night on average. Now, we do get some freezing weather into the teens. Single digit, maybe very rarely does it get single digit. And we do get snow, rarely. I think it's been 5 years since we've had a good snow. I think it was, actually longer than that. 2015, I believe we had the big snow where it was 6 inches of snow, shut everything down for a week. I absolutely loved it. Having lived in Colorado, it's like, yay, snow. And, the milk and bread aisles were cleaned out for some reason in South Carolina. When storms come, people clear out that milk and bread aisle. But weather is really, it's nice. Many people come here for that, to get away from the snow. We also have people come up from Florida that may have moved from the northeast of the country because they want some kind of season.
Yeah.
We have 3 seasons, let's say. It's hot, it's mild winter, and then the best weather in between. Yeah. I love that in between. The hot and the cold here is just amazing. But one other thing I always say, it's like a lottery when it comes to weather. Because one moment it's 32 out at night, and then it might be 65 the next day, and then 24 at one night, and talking about wintertime, and then 70 a day later. It's so random at times here in South Carolina.
Well, you can almost always count on that, on the sunshine. And the other thing is, like you said, I've heard a lot of the people from Florida that come here, or that's already made that move back from Florida, and they call it the halfback state,
Right.
Coming back here, halfway back. So
that's right.
And we just started here, so we got lucky.
Hey, that's great. Yeah, you found it. The gem in the middle of the East Coast. It really is. And speaking of kind of where we are location-wise, we'll jump into that. We are central to South Carolina. We're inland about 100 miles. So people worrying about hurricanes don't have to worry as much here.
Yeah.
By the time the hurricane winds get here, it dies down typically to a tropical storm. We could still have damage, but not the worry and the flooding and all that you get with a hurricane as if you were on the coast. And that you don't need hurricane insurance for that reason as well. But the beach is still 100 miles away. So 2 hours away, you're at the beach. Or if you want to go to Myrtle Beach, the more touristy spot, it's 3.5 hours.
Yep.
And then upstate, you have the mountains. We have the tail end of the Appalachian Mountains are in South Carolina. So you could be in the mountains in 2 hours as well.
Yep.
Let's see. Location. So I guess we're kind of jumping all over stuff, but speaking of all over the state, things that are nice, state parks.
Yeah.
We have a ton of state parks. I believe it was about 50 state parks that are just amazing. We have Sesquicentennial right here in Columbia. It's a small state park with a pond, trails, and there's villas and stuff you could rent. We have Dreher Island State Park right on Lake Murray, a big lake right here in the area, and they have cabins and camping there, plus a trail, and they do a lot of fishing tournaments out of that state park. And then we have Harbison State Forest, which is also right here in the Irmo area, and that has great mountain biking trails. I hike it a lot. And then we have a national park really close by as well. Congaree National Park is really close to Columbia as well. I think it's like a 45-minute drive. And that's where they had the fireflies you could go see. Their synchronized lighting of the fireflies. It's their mating season, and it's a specific firefly or lightning bug that their butts flash at the same time. It's really quite the sight to see. Anything you want to add to that? I know I'm just kind of taking over on state parks.
No. That's great. Yeah, I love the number of state parks and stuff. We're hoping to maybe get a camper this year and visit some of those state parks.
Absolutely. And then here locally, we have Lake Murray, I mentioned. Huge lake. There's a couple other lakes as well. We have rivers. So and our river system is just now really being utilized. In the past, it hasn't been hardly used, but now there's several groups that are doing lots of things. You go tubing and rafting, a lot of kayakers doing that. So we got a lot of outdoor activities here in this area.
Yeah, we have several lakes in the area as well. So I know like some of the lakes might be pricier. There's other lakes that the prices for the campgrounds or maybe the houses are more affordable. They're like Devin said, the rivers. There's several rivers. We actually looked at a cabin down on Edisto, and so yeah, there's so many fun things to do all across the state. And like he said, we're central to the state of South Carolina, and I love that. Like he mentioned, that was a key to us, is we wanted to be inland enough. We didn't have to worry about hurricane season. And we didn't have to worry about the hurricane insurance. We didn't have to worry about if there was a hurricane coming leaving our house. We didn't want to worry about those things. And it fit right with her sister being just 7 miles from where we ended up moving. So we feel wonderful about where we are in the county, in the state.
Absolutely, yeah. Such a great place to live. Other things we have here, we are the capital of the state as well.
Yeah.
So we get some of the big concerts come through town. It's nice to be able to see some of the big names through here. So it's a big city, but with a small town feel. It's the best way to describe our area. If you look wider on a map, again, we've talked about in-state stuff, but Charlotte is an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
So if you want to get to the professional football games or basketball game, you could head up to Charlotte. Atlanta, about 3.5 hours away. Augusta, Georgia, about an hour away. So we're central to the southeast region. We have family out in Alabama, which will go in under 6 hour drive to get up there. So there's a lot of that. And I guess we'll jump into some of the sports since I mentioned sports. We're primarily a college town here.
Yes.
With the University of South Carolina, the Gamecocks.
Yep.
You want to talk a little bit about some of their success?
Absolutely. Let's go Gamecocks. So just went into the baseball game. My buddy Jeremy he scored some tickets to watch the Gamecocks men's baseball team, and they were champions in 2010, 2011. Right now, they have one of the hottest hitters in baseball, Ethan Petrie. So we got to see him the other night, and he drove in a run. So really exciting. The women's basketball team is what we're really known for right now with Dawn Staley, their coach, and they're on fire. So they're undefeated right now. Just won a buzzer beater at the end of regulation the other night to beat Tennessee, and the big basketball tournaments are here. The men's in for the first time since like 2015.
Wow.
So some really cool stuff there. And then a couple other just sports in the area. We have the Lexington County Blowfish that we're season ticket holders to. Great prices. So if you come to the area, you like sports, you can get out. Everybody just loves to get out. This weather is just perfect for game times. It's a little different than when I lived in Ohio and you go to Cleveland, you're freezing your butt off. So this is a lot better. The Blowfish were champions last year of the CPL. Great league. If you go over to Segra Park, you've got the Columbia Fireflies.
Right, which that's a feeder for the Major League Baseball team. We discussed it yesterday. Was it the Royals?
Kansas City Royals, you're right.
That's right. So, yeah, they feed. That's the minor league team for the Royals, based out of Columbia. And fun fact, Tim Tebow played his last minor league game here in Columbia, South Carolina.
Love Tebow. He's good.
That's good. That's good. And we have, all the other sports as well with the college. I heard we have a hockey team. I didn't realize that. And lacrosse. And lacrosse I've seen that have some growth in the area as well. I had some past clients that they're big into it, and I didn't realize that. And another one we were talking about yesterday was a big complex you're talking about on one, the pickleball.
Oh, yeah, pickleball. We have a new pickleball facility in town that is all pickleball. So it's a membership to get in. They have like teaching and different things that you can sign up through there. But it's membership, and I think they're doing tournaments and all sorts of stuff there, which that's what pickleball's about. Getting everybody out, having fun, and all ages can play, which is why it's so popular across the nation right now.
That's right. So back into reasons people are moving here, the affordability. It's a big one. We kind of skipped over. It's very affordable here. Taxes are fairly low. We get a lot of people selling their $1 million homes or $500,000 homes and coming out here, cashing out and buying a really great home with our average sales price of around $300,000. You could get a really great home. And if you want to start getting into the luxury stuff, up in the 4s and 5s, and I mean, you could even get on to Lake Murray in that 500 range pretty easily. The bigger the home, the nicer the lot, deeper the water, closer to the dam stuff. You're going to be closer to the million and million plus homes. But overall, very affordable place to live. We have low property taxes compared to some states that are really high, high.
Yeah, we do have a vehicle tax, so that's something that surprises some people that come here from states that don't have that. But that's still factored in when you look at where do we rank in the retirement states. So a couple quick facts here. Kiplinger ranked South Carolina as number 6 overall. And then U.S. News and the World Report put South Carolina in the top 10 for all states for retirement. So you can see where we're ranking. We're ranking very good. And you throw the weather in, and then you know why so many people are coming here.
That's right.
A lot of great reasons to come here.
Rich history of we just have a lot of history from the Civil War and a lot of homes that are kept well. There's a group called Historic Columbia, and they manage several properties, and there's events and tours, and the gardens are just absolutely amazing. These gardens that have lasted for hundreds of years, that they brought plants over from all over the world.
Yeah.
And so rich history here. We have Lexington County Museum. You could see how living was back in the day without electricity, and just really cool if you're a history buff. A lot of great history here in the area. And didn't you go to some reenactments?
I went to Aiken and like just a couple weeks ago and saw Civil War reenactment down there. Fantastic, biggest crowd they've had in years. It was a lot of fun. They were doing, like they staged like a jailbreak. They did lots of little things. They had, I talked to some of the vendors that had little exhibits showing you like Civil War money and stuff. And then, and something I didn't know was there's something called the Lincoln dollar. The Lincoln dollar it wasn't actually a Lincoln dollar. It was a Civil War from the South. And it was a piece of the money, a $5 bill that was inside his coat pocket when he was killed.
Oh, wow.
So they called it the Lincoln dollar. And it was just, they just figured maybe he liked the picture or something, is why he had it with him. So that was kind of cool. And the other thing is, like, it's just so great. You can go over to Charleston, and you can see that's where the first shot, it's over there.
Fort Sumter, was it, I believe?
Yeah. Fort Sumter, so you can take the ferry over, so you got to time that to be able to go over and do the tour. It's worth it.
And you remember, this is me remembering history, like some of the reasons why that fort survived all the cannonballs was because the palmetto trees, the palm trees, were so absorbent, and they wouldn't just get destroyed like brick would. So that was a big part of it. So.
Yeah.
And so our state tree is the palmetto tree.
Yeah, and that's where the little the Civil War, there was a submarine. And that's where it actually sunk. The Hunley, the USSS Hunley. It's actually been recovered, and it's over there being restored right now.
Right.
So last year we didn't get to see it, but we're going back. That's also where the Navy Museum is down there. It's fantastic. Yeah. Planned for about 4 hours to walk through that. It's well worth it. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's a lot to do down in Charleston history-wise, and just you could do day trips. That's what's great about living here. You could drive down there, go to the beach for the day, come back with worn-out kids.
Yes.
And they will sleep good that night. So we do that from time to time.
That's what we do. We go visit, come back to where it's so nice.
That's good. Very good. Didn't touch on this, but food. Like, we have some really great local food here. You have different restaurants popping up all the time. I haven't been to all of them. There's a list. I'm slowly going through them all, but some amazing food here. And not just downtown Columbia, but in Lexington as well, and Chapin, and some of the outskirts of town. We have a really nice culinary scene, I would say. Same with the art scene. There's arts and entertainment. We talked a little bit about big concerts coming to town, but different things like the Soda City Market on Saturdays, downtown Main Street, Columbia. Great way to see a lot of vendors selling their art and their works. Lexington has theirs on Saturday morning as well.
Got the amphitheater.
The amphitheater. And Lexington, and we talked about kind of tying a lot of the stuff in together. The parks here, not the state parks, just your local parks. Yeah. There's playgrounds everywhere. They just spent millions of dollars on Virginia Hilton Park here in Lexington, which will have some smaller amphitheaters and playgrounds and a stream running through it. There's Gibson Pond they just finished, which is absolutely beautiful, and that'll tie into that one. Plus this other one over here by the old mill, there's a pond and a path around that. So a lot of walkways here in Lexington, a lot of growth. Our Main Street has just transformed over the last decade, and it's awesome to see Main Street downtown Columbia did that years and years ago. The Vista, all of that has really grown.
The Riverwalk that's in West Columbia is fantastic.
We could spend a whole episode on the Riverwalk. It's amazing that story, we could talk about it later, but in short, the guy kind of had this idea of doing this walk along the river, and part of it is actually considered like a interstate, so it has to be lit. And it's just the challenge of going through different jurisdictions, towns, counties. It's an amazing story to see what they've done. It's not done yet, but a large part of it is. And
yeah, let's do a podcast on that.
Absolutely.
And maybe we can even go out there and do some video.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fantastic.
No, I love the Riverwalk. It's great. There's so many walking areas and places to get outside here. Finally, let's talk about Southern hospitality. That's another big reason people come down here. People are just so nice here. Now, not everybody, of course.
Yeah.
But the general rule, here people are nice. People open the doors for you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. And thankfully that is not lost yet. It's still here. And that's the big part. I love raising my kids here.
Yeah.
For that, to teach them manners. And where you don't get some of that in some other different areas of the country and the world, and I'm glad we still have that here.
You do, and that's something that we love. You get everybody like it. It's very catchy. It's very catchy. Y'all, you hear these Southern terms, Mr. Tom, Miss Melissa. You
That's
hear
right.
these, Mr. This, Mr.
That's
Miss
a
that.
funny thing that a lot of people. Other areas don't do, and me pretty much being here my whole life didn't know that other people in other areas don't call. Let's say if my kids go over to a friend's house, they'll say not Mrs. Johnson, it's Mrs. Susie or whatever the first name is. Hey, Mrs. Susie, or Miss Susie.
Yep.
I don't know where that comes from, but it is a funny nuance that's here.
Oh, we love it. We absolutely love it, and people are just When we come down, we bought our house from an older couple, and they moved not very far away. We're still great friends with them, but they're always so helpful, but that's what he always says, Mr. Tom, or and these things, and I just love that about Southern hospitality and the food, the restaurants, and you can tell people genuinely mean these things. It's not like they're just throwing it out there pretending. So
That's right.
We love it. The hospitality is fantastic.
That's right. Yep, that is awesome. I think that's a great way to end this one. Anything else you could think of you want to add on to it?
No, we'll do a podcast from a restaurant. So we'll do one with our phone. If you haven't tried grits, try some grits. We'll teach you how to have some good grits.
That's right. Yep. You got the stone ground, the yellow grits. That's the one. We got a big flour factory here that makes them locally. So you got to try those. Adaloo. Well, awesome. I am Devin Imey. That is Tom Wood, both real estate agents. I'm going to link Tom's channel. He has his own channel doing his own thing. His take on being a transplant, moving here, relocating here, and mine kind of focusing overall on different entertainment and food and activities, as well as both of us some housing stuff because we are real estate agents. So you got to have somewhere to live, and we would love to help you with that. So give either one of us a call, and thanks for watching the Living in the Midlands channel.